थोड़ा झटका लगता है आपको अगर आपकी फ़िल्म नहीं जाती है तो, क्योंकि आप फ़िल्म से अटैच होते हैं, आपको अपनी फ़िल्म अच्छी लगती है। बट निराशा उससे ज़्यादा इस बात की होती है अगर आप कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अगर उसका इंटेंशन अगर आपको लगे कि उसको टैलेंट को बढ़ावा देना नहीं है, उसके कंसर्न कुछ और है, उससे ज़्यादा धक्का लगता है।
It's been an interesting 2 days where most of the film community online has had a meltdown on the RRR Snub, specifically on not being selected for the Oscar campaign this year. Before anyone starts venting or arguing about the quality of the film and its suitability for the award, one needs to recognize that a major criteria for films to be even in the reckoning for the Oscars has a lot to do with the traction and marketing of the film, and how the masses and film community feel about the product, especially in North America. Even if you keep your creative biases at bay, one cannot deny the fact that the film had an amazing push globally to be recognized as a favorite from India. I'm not surprised, however, for the jury in India, disappointing yet again with their choice, as last year they denied Sardar Udham from being the official entry on the grounds of it being an offensive portrayal of the British, as if the creators had a bone to pick with them. An absolutely ludicrous statement on a spectacular film covering a very tragic part of Indian history. I'm not surprised, as years of examples have showcased them making the wrong choice, preferring a movie like Paheli over Black, a Gujarati film like The Good Road over The Lunchbox, most recently on a film like Gully Boy over an ambitious project like Tumbad. It just comes across as boomer energy that are absolutely lost in the discourse happening outside of their little bubbles. Irrespective, I think people are creating several permutations and combinations of how RRR can still be in the reckoning in the general category, but I just want to say, hum apne mein hi sahi hai, and that the massive love that the film has acquired in itself is a victory, so we shouldn't really vent or analyze the ulterior motive in this case. The Last Show, a Gujarati film, has been selected as the official entry and has been already termed as heavily inspired from a classic movie, and was even termed as merely interesting rather than a unique experience that deserved a global stage. Irrespective, I thought with this video I did not want to just rant about the sorry state of the Indian jury and its choices, but just talk about better things, like the sheer variety of movies that this country has to offer and what I saw this week across languages. So let's get to it. I first this week saw the Goutham Menon directed film VTK, starring STR in the lead role. The film, focusing on the life of Muthu from living in absolute poverty picking thorns to his journey to Mumbai and getting involved in the world of crime and gangsters, being right in the epicenter of the battlefield between Tamilians and Malayalis, and how he evolves over a period of time surviving the most gruesome circumstances, forms the basic premise of this indulgent gangster and coming of age film. You also let me know your thoughts about what you felt about this movie. I definitely had a mixed experience with this film. While I appreciated several of its technical qualities, I definitely felt it to be a struggle to be fully immersed in its screenplay. What I absolutely did love about the movie was the music composed by A.R. Rahman and some of the complex and extremely skilled long shots that existed in the narrative. Malipu has to be definitely a theatre favourite, as the densely populated room above the paratha shop breaks into a song and dance. And this also acts like Muthu's breaking the ice moment, as he is still only feeling like a fish out of the sea. The background score really enhances several of the set pieces, whether it be the pre-interval block that is a long shot of a brawl happening in the shop, a case of physical violence in the open road as retaliation. Also, my favorite sequence has to be Muthu being cornered as him and his boss visit an actress. Technically, these set pieces really engage you, but it is the indulgence with which GVM demands your attention that really requires a patient viewing from the audience. The entire first half is the setup of the world around Muthu, and that can be really exhausting. A romantic relationship doesn't really provide for an individual arc for his character, but only acts as a means to be a roadblock in several instances where her life is on the line. The more I explored VTK, I realized that its horny mob bosses really being their own worst enemy because they can't control their impulsive decisions. I enjoyed the transformative portrayal of STR, who really channelized this awkward and conscious body language with great conviction in the initial moments, and you slowly and steadily notice the increased confidence in his stride and tone with which he communicates. I did like his dynamic with characters like Sarvana and Sridharan, but just felt GVM's editing and screenplay really bogs down the overall impact of the film. The constant need to fade into black to progress the storyline and the abrupt tonality with being an intense gangster film, a romantic film, and also having hints of wacky comedic touches of a Lokesh Kanagraj or a Karthik Subbaraj film with Delhi Ganesh's character. All of it kind of left me more frustrated than satisfied. Not to forget a climax that genuinely seemed like a rushed creative decision than organically feeling like a part of the screenplay. It gave me more whiplash than anything else. You see the effort gone into the film, and while I do appreciate several of its moments and adept sequences, I was left with wanting for a more coherent screenplay that was effective in its tonality rather than packing up so many elements that ultimately led me to having an average experience rather than being completely blown away by the world building, which was otherwise done so spectacularly in, say, a legendary film like Nayakan, or even having the semblance and effectiveness of the transformative journey found in Vetrimaran's Vada Chennai. As I moved further and tried to explore content across languages this week, I was recommended by multiple people to check out the Malayalam film Attention Please that recently released on Netflix, and this film was met with crickets and a mostly lukewarm response from the masses in Kerala when it released in theatres last year. And boy did I step in for a film that caught me by surprise every step of the way. The more I explore the plot of the film, the more I will be giving away of the experience that will ultimately unfold for you. What I can tell you is that this movie focuses on a group of friends who live together and decide to have a drinking session at night. Most of the individuals are aspiring or worn-out artists who want to be a part of the Malayalam film industry, and most of the discourse is around films and stories from Kerala. As Vishnu Govindhan's character, who is absolutely menacing by the way, a writer is instructed to tell one of his stories, the night takes a deep dark turn that you would least expect. The film is a masterclass in terms of screenplay composed by Jitan Isaac Thomas, and really is an insight about less is more and how an engaging experience always doesn't have to be represented through grand sets and opulence. Several of the stories narrated are a hint of the psychological state of the characters and a foreshadowing of their ultimate actions, and you're really looking at an intense watching experience that will surely be the dark horse recommendation of the week for all of you. You really need to catch this one on Netflix. Moving on to the film that I finally got a hold of and that fell under everyone's radar as it released on the same weekend as Brahmastra is the Telugu film titled Oke Oka Jeevitham, directed and written by Sri Karthik. The film is a great example of skillful as well as emotionally effective storytelling. When one understands that they can change their current circumstances with the help of a time machine, three friends try to be an influence on their younger selves so that there can be a cascading effect on their fate in the future. As the two timelines cross paths with one another and several of the revelations unfold, one gets a lesson of fate and what's the ultimate destiny in each person's path. What I did not expect with this film is to be emotionally affected by it, especially by the track of Adi and his beautiful connection with his mother played with such sincerity and warmth by Amla Akineni. The boundless love and encouragement that exists between the two characters immediately tugged at my heartstrings, and the song Amma sung by Sid Sriram absolutely broke me, as Sharvanand couldn't help himself but be emotionally overwhelmed as he eats his mother's cooked meal after years. I hear that Sri dedicated this film to his mother, and if he's seeing this, I really wanted to say that he's definitely made her proud. This film does get into the territory of handling a lot of elements together at the same time that might be overwhelming, but it does so with great skill that you're appreciative of not only its technical brilliance but emotional core. The film has currently limited shows all over India. I assure you, if you do have a show near you, do catch it in the theatre, you'll absolutely love it. And when it comes on an OTT platform, it definitely has to be a must watch for you. Hands down, however, my favorite experience this week of watching a film was the Malayalam movie Natha and a Case Accord that is available on DisneyPlus Hotstar. A film that I missed watching in the theatre as it released on the same weekend as Talumala, and boy did I miss out on an absolutely hilarious ride as I would have experienced in a packed theatre with Keralites. The film, no joke, is hilarious, never transitioning to becoming gimmicky or over the top in its screenplay. A great balance of treading the line between effective but not slapstick. The film focusing on the life of Rajivan, played by Kunchaka Boban, a petty thief who is trying to make ends meet for his pregnant girlfriend and gets caught up in a case of burglary that is way more complicated than it seems. The film boasts of such eccentric characters that they will stay with you several days after its viewing also. Whether it be the police officer who always ends up stating the obvious, the new recruit who is a sticker for rules constantly talking about laws pertaining to arrests, a milk seller and the unfiltered nature with which he confesses to every possible sin in his life, the hilarious ride or die and absolutely in love couple that totally won my heart, or my favorite, The judge, played by P.P. Kunnikrishnan, who hits it out of the park completely. His reactions, his dialogue delivery, his ADHD with the case and the flying pigeons, all of it creates such a beautiful mixture of comedy while still being socially relevant. Kunchako Boban and Gayatri Shankar are in fine form and really spearhead and lead an engaging and hilarious narrative that you just cannot miss. I hear that many of the supporting cast members are not even actors and were roped in for the film, but my god, do the performances seem natural, organic, and totally effective. Don't forget to notice the meticulous nature with which in the screenplay one progresses the timeline so wonderfully, and it's such an intelligent move through the price of petrol. You don't want to miss this one. I still regret not watching it in the theatre. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about all of these movies and the Oscar snub, of course. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.